Everything is energy, including when you're not getting results. It has its own vibrational state and frequency. So the fastest way to change your result is actually change your energy. Doesn't mean you have to be all crazy and like let's go, which can be a good thing, but it's changing the state that you think, that you feel, and that you act. I'm Tyler Watson, founder of Elite Performance Coaching, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the powers of vibrations and frequencies, and that it actually affects your wealth, your health, and your family life. Everything is energy. Everything is a vibration and a frequency. Everything. Your thoughts right now, how you're holding yourself, the words you think, the words you are going to say something later, everything has a vibration and a frequency. This is key. If you want to make more money, if you want to have a better relationship, if you want to have better health. I see someone with a tuning fork. Yeah, everything's got energy, right? Yeah. Everything has a vibration and a frequency to it. Now, the crazy thing is a lot of us believe this in health, and we use it in health. But it's also everything in relationships and wealth is energy as well. Everything. So when I say everything, is there anything that doesn't include everything? Just think about that word, everything. Is there something that goes outside of that boundary of like the everything thing? I haven't found one yet. So when I say everything, you're like, but what about this thing? Is that included in everything? Well, that's a vibration, a frequency, and a pattern, and you can change that too. So let me ask you this. When you think of this, what is a limit? What is a limit? When I'm doing something, what's your definition of a limit? And then what creates a limit? Like when you think of creating a goal, going to that next level, attaining what you want, what actually creates a limit? Fear, limiting beliefs, thoughts, what I choose to think, confidence or lack thereof, complacency, disbelief, fear. Yeah. So then how does one have no limits? How does one create a life of no limits? Like sometimes we don't even know what limits we have, right? We're like, what limit do I have? And oftentimes it's because we're afraid to create something bigger than where we're at. Because if we do, then it causes pain. It's like, hey, I'll settle for less. Like the old Tyler, I remember back in the day when I first started, I was a massage therapist. I was kind of broke, and kind of meaning like I had 49 cents in my bank account and in debt. And I was like, I want to be rich and like no limits. You know, I was reading these books, Bob Proctor. Anybody Bob Proctor fans? I love Bob Proctor. Yeah. So I was reading it and like all abundance mindset and all this stuff. And man, I remember just feeling really angry and frustrated at my life up to this point. I had been addicted to porn and video games and poverty mindset, struggling. Parents went through 5 different divorces, just lots of stuff that wasn't really ideal. And yet I felt really happy. I thought I did. And I remember I was at this other event and the guy's like, yeah, set big goals and you'll do all this stuff. And I was like, I feel really happy. Like I've got a good life. I could live anywhere with nothing. Anyone a minimalist that's like, I don't need anything and I could be happy, right? So some of us do that, but it's out of a cop-out. To be like, well, that's easy, but could you have everything and be happy? Like if you could have nothing and be happy, could you have everything and be happy? So if the happiness is tied to something or not, then you're not really happy because your happiness is dependent upon a situation or circumstance. So my test began to happen at that point, which he was like, my goal was like, I think like 20 grand in a year, something really low. Because again, I was making like 13 grand a year. And I was like, I have my bills paid, even though it was not like my splurge was go to Taco Bell and buy off the dollar menu. I was happy. I was like, this is a good lifestyle. I don't have any responsibilities. It was great. And so then I thought about it and I was like, well, what if I like raised it to making $100,000 in a year? That to me back then was like 10x my income. I was like, oh, that's great. And as soon as I set the goal for 10K in a month, I started to have a crappy life. Like I had some bad thoughts. I had like, all of a sudden I became a really negative person. And I was like, why? Because I raised the standard. I had settled for so long. And as soon as I stretched myself, my true self came out, which was, I can't do this. It's too hard. I don't know how. I'm not good enough. I don't have the skills. I'm too young. People think I'm 12 years old. No one listens to me. I have gap teeth. Everybody hates me. All this stuff. And I couldn't create because of the limitations that I had. But as soon as I raised that goal, raised the standard, that's when my actual opposition came out. And then I knew what to change. So it's hard to know what to change if you don't raise your standard of living. Yeah, some of you are that person, right? Like, I've been settling. No more. Because as we raise that bar, raise that standard, the reason we haven't is because of the fear.
Was it me? No, it was each and every one of you. So we all chose to do that. No one forced you. No one made you. You chose, which is freaking awesome.